Hello my friends and welcome to another video. My name is Sam, aka Sir_Beardface on the grams. And today we are talking about my 2021 gimbal pick. Let's go. Welcome back my friends. If you haven't already guessed it, today we're talking about the Zhiyun Crane 2S. And I'm quite confident that I mispronounce that every time I've ever done a video talking about Zhiyun. I've heard some guys say Zhiyun. Maybe it's a Zhiyun Crane 2S. Either way, we're talking about this gimbal and why I am choosing it as my 2021 workhorse for all things run and gun filmmaking. And if you're interested in hearing my thoughts, then let's jump through a few highlighted little bullet sections that I put together that may help you make an informed decision on whether or not this gimbal is a good fit for your arsenal of filmmaking tools. Starting off with my first impressions on the Zhiyun Crane 2S. I'm calling it a classic gimbal, and I'm calling it that because when we all started using gimbals, we were amazed by how steady and smooth the shots could be, and handheld and portable compared to some of the old rigs in the past that required a professional operator or these thousands of dollars in budget just to purchase one. The Zhiyun Crane 2S feels like a well-designed package that delivers classic gimbal action, meaning the shots that you can get are smooth and refined. The ergonomics feel great. It feels good to hold on to. It's honestly kind of a heavy gimbal compared to some of the others, but it feels good. It feels like it's well made, and I've really enjoyed using it so far. As I mentioned, I've tested a number of other gimbals. We all know that the DJI Ronin S, the DJI RS2, as they're calling it, is the one that's getting talked about the most right now. And it has all kinds of bells and whistles and features, which are great, but you're gonna pay for those. It's an expensive gimbal. And I think the Zhiyun Crane 2S comes in at a price point that is affordable and delivers a professional result that I think a lot of people will enjoy. So first impressions, it's a classic gimbal that's gonna get the job done and deliver professional looking results. Let's move on to my next bullet point, which is pricing. So in talking pricing here, I think the Zhiyun Crane 2S comes in at a very competitive price, right there in the middle ground for a professional grade gimbal. You can get the base model of the gimbal at $599, 600 bucks. You can get the combo kit for $649, which includes an extra grip handle and a couple other small items. Comparing that to the DJI RS2, which starts for the base model at $849. For that same dollar amount, you can buy the Zhiyun Crane 2S Pro Kit, which comes with all the bells and whistles included, which I have these behind me, and we'll review those in just a second when I go over the features list. But I feel like that price point is pretty competitive. The DJI RS2 goes all the way up to $1,000 for their pro level kit, and then more if you're adding on additional accessories. And so again, as I mentioned, this hits that middle tier where I think it's affordable, yet it's got all of the features that you need that you've come to know and love in your modern day gimbals to get you by on professional grade shoots. Moving on to our next bullet point, we're going to be talking about the features of the Zhiyun Crane 2S. Let's talk features of the Zhiyun Crane 2S, and there are quite a few of them. First and foremost, let's talk about the payload of the motors. They are hefty, but mysteriously, we have no idea what the actual payload is. You can scour the website and you can dig in, and it does not tell you the exact pounds or kilograms that this thing will support, but I can tell you from actual testing that you shouldn't have any worry if you're shooting on your standard DSLR mirrorless cameras. I run a Canon 5D Mark IV with battery pack, and I've gotten it balanced on there with a 70 to 200 2.8. So being that this is their newest and kind of professional grade gimbal release, I'm assuming it's upwards 8 to 10 pounds, which is similar to the RS2 by DJI. I have had no issues whatsoever with weight. And in fact, on some of my older gimbals, I would run into issues. Even on the original DJI Ronin S, which I have sitting back there behind me, I would get motor shake on a pretty standard setup when I had my Canon 5D Mark IV on a 24 to 70 lens. Anytime I would zoom in on the barrel to go to maybe a tighter focal length, I would have to rebalance my gimbal, and that drove me nuts. One of the things with the Zhiyun Crane 2S is that I can balance for its widest setting. Let's say I'm on the 24-70, so we're at 24, and then I can zoom in on the lens if I need a tighter shot, and I have no issue, no need to rebalance these motors whatsoever. So that is fantastic. I don't think you'll have any problem there. If somebody does know the actual payload Zhiyun, if you're watching this, maybe let me know in the comments. That would be fantastic too. Moving on to other features, the Zhiyun Crane 2S is pretty cool. They've thought through a lot of different things in this gimbal, a lot of things that were lacking in early edition gimbals. Number one is the freaking locking motors. This is the greatest gift to gimbals and all mankind, is that you can lock off every motor so it's not rolling around and bouncing around in your bag. It breaks apart for easy travel, and I really like that. It's very nice. And not to mention, these motors, this gimbal looks beautiful. Have you guys seen the little gold inlays and the Zhiyun Crane 2 logo? It looks great. They also have integrated a number of really fast and efficient little swaps for your camera setup. The first one is the vertical shooting mode. You can take your camera and flip it to vertical very quickly and very simply with their quick release plate and be shooting vertically for the gram. Personally, I hate the fact that vertical video is making such an impact on the scene because I think it's a pain and it's not as immersive and I just don't like it, but I understand that the majority of content is digested on a mobile device. And so there is a need for that, and maybe one day I will get into shooting my Instagram stories on my mirrorless cameras. I don't know, probably not. So anyway, there is that if you're looking to do that. This also, the Zhiyun Crane 2S has a feature where you can mount 2 cameras. So if that says anything for the payload, then I think we'll all be okay with the camera setups that we have. Mounting 2 cameras, I have no intention of ever using that feature, but it is there and it is kind of cool. Of course, this gimbal has built-in control for select cameras on the autofocus. There's a list that you can reference on their website that shows all compatible cameras for a digital autofocus through the cable connection. And of course, you can hook up their actual autofocus motor if you so desire and control that through a mechanical focus on your lenses as well. Now, one of the things that I mentioned is that this is a classic gimbal. You're not getting the super fancy active tracking modes on this gimbal. You're not getting the LiDAR technology for immediate autofocus on your gimbal. To me, that's okay. I don't shoot a lot of like self-portrait style stuff on a gimbal. I don't have the need for LiDAR autofocus because I'm running my focus manually or I'm controlling the autofocus through focus points on my camera as I'm shooting. And so I don't really need those extra bells and whistles. I don't need to pay for those extra bells and whistles. That being said, there are a number of really cool attachments that I've found very useful that you can get for this gimbal. The very first one is the extended hand grip. I love this thing. You guys need to get it. It's fantastic. I have it on there at all times and I use it as just a secondary point of balance so that I can run this gimbal super steady, and it makes it very simple to do underslung mode as well, where you can just drop that gimbal down, get all those low down and dirty shots that you need. And I love the extended hand grip on this gimbal. You can actually turn it in all different directions and configurations so that you can get a setup that is preferable to you, and I really like that. There's also a phone mount with a monitor so that you can monitor your image from the back of the gimbal on your phone, which is kind of nice. I haven't used this yet. I usually just use the flip out screen on my camera as I'm shooting, but if you have need to transmit that image to either a phone or a independent monitor, they also have an image transmission system that hooks right up to this gimbal, and you can do exactly that. If you guys are a 2-man operation, 2-woman operation, whatever it be, you can send that image out, you can get the job done, have your dedicated focus puller, you're getting all those crispy, beautiful shots, and you're transmitting that image with low latency over to an external monitor. Pretty awesome. Talking about some of the internal features on the Crane 2S, it has all of your standard modes. It even includes time-lapse modes, hyperlapse modes, panoramic, long exposures, the whole bit, which are really cool features to play around with if you want to set up at night and do a long exposure or time-lapse of the night sky. You can choose starting and ending points so your gimbal will move slowly over that time duration. I'm going to do some testing on this for an upcoming short film that I'm shooting, so stay tuned. Make sure to hit that subscribe button, shameless plug, so that you can see that when I release it. You'll be able to see where I actually put some of those features to good use shot on the Zhiyun Crane 2S. So that about wraps up the features that I had in mind that I wanted to highlight for you guys. Of course, you can look at their website and scroll through the entire list of features if you're looking for more detailed specs. Next, I wanted to talk to you really quick. I mentioned a few of these briefly about the add-ons that you can purchase. I have the Pro Kit, Crane 2S Pro Kit, so I wanted to show you these add-ons real fast in case you're interested. I'm not even gonna cut, I'm gonna grab them right now on camera. We're gonna stack them all up right here. So I have them beautifully placed behind me to make that shot so dynamic and so immersive. Here we are, okay. Autofocus. Number one, this is the Transmount Crane 2S Sling Grip Handle. This thing is the one I was talking about that is my baby. You can see it on the gimbal behind me. I'm gonna cut to some beautiful footage of it. I love this. I leave it on at all times and I use it every time I shoot. The next one is the Transmount Image Transmitter, the names, man, the names. Transmount Image Transmission Transmitter 2.0. Here it is. This is the bad boy that you'll hook up to your gimbal. You can wirelessly transmit the image coming out of your camera to a secondary monitor, to your phone, whatever that is. This thing is pretty awesome. I shoot solo quite a bit, so I don't have a huge need to transmit the image regularly because I'm looking at the back of my Sony camera. I said it, I switched cameras. Watch for another video. I switched from Canon to Sony. I'm shooting on it right now. Wirelessly transmit your image, great. This is the phone mount, so you can actually monitor your shot through a phone. If you prefer your phone screen, hooks right up to your gimbal. You can watch everything you're doing from the back of your phone, great. This is, of course, the Transmount Focus Zoom Control Motor 2.0 for that mechanical zoom. If you want to hook this up to your lens, you can control the zoom and the focus of your lens from the focus wheel on your camera, on the gimbal, I'm sorry. And last but not least is the dual cam extension. This is where you're stacking one camera on top of the other. I will never have a need for this, but if you do have a need for this for comparison videos, this is the mount for you. You can run exactly that and get two cameras mounted on one gimbal. Best bang for your buck right there. And with that, you've seen the add-ons for the Crane 2S. That's what you would get in the Pro Kit, is a bunch of those extra little features and benefits that you can chuck onto your gimbal to make this your whole built-out crazy rig for all your professional filmmaking needs. Now, we've talked about features, we've talked about prices, we've talked about my overall impressions and the add-ons. I think we should cut to the chase here and show you some test footage. So what you're about to see is test footage on the Zhiyun Crane 2S with a Sony a7S III 24-70 2.8 G Master lens. None of this footage has been slowed down in post. None of it has been warp stabilized in Premiere Pro. This is straight from the camera with nothing but a color grade. Enjoy my little cinematic showreel of the Zhiyun Crane 2S. Let's go. So there you have it, reiterating what I said before. It's a classic gimbal. It's a gimbal that's gonna get you nice stable shots with good, solid, well-built motors and a nice ergonomic design. Yes, it may be lacking in some of the crazy new features, but you know what? These companies are revenue driven, which means they're going to release new features and market to you every single year to get you to spend more and more money. So if you're looking for a gimbal that kind of hits that middle tier price point, that's gonna get you nice stable shots, that feels well built, the Zhiyun Crane 2S might be a good option for you. Of course, there are links in the description. And as I have recently left my full-time job to pursue filmmaking and YouTubing, I would very much appreciate if you used my links, because it just helps a small channel like mine grow and develop so that I can produce more content and feed my two young boys with their mouths when they're hungry. Anyway, guys, let me know what you think. If you have any questions for me, I'm happy to answer them in the comments. If you're gonna be picking up a Zhiyun Crane 2S, let me know. Click the links below. Don't forget to subscribe and like this video if it was helpful, because liking a video does help. I know everybody hates on it, but man, YouTube sucks sometimes with their algorithm, so give it a little boost. It's just one click. It doesn't show anywhere that you liked my video, and it's gonna help my video just rank in searches a little bit and get some more views, and that's how we all just make money and share and celebrate each other's successes. I'm done. It's a good gimbal. I'm using it all year long. Stay tuned if you'd like to see more footage with it. Over and out. Goodbye.